sharing your input and feedback with us. This is the fourth of 7 community input sessions that will take place across all districts. Each session is scheduled for 1 hour and will be divided into 3 parts. For the first part, we'll begin with some remarks from our District 4 Councilwoman Kaylin Paxson, and also there will be a brief video highlighting some key things about the budget, and we'll hear from our City Manager, Mr. Peter Zanoni. In the second part, we'll open it up for you to ask your questions. And so we have a microphone right here, and we'll ask you to kind of line up when the time comes. We do ask that people from this district be allowed to go first. We'll be timing. Everybody will have 2 minutes just to keep it moving and ensure that as many people as possible are able to step up and give their input and ask their questions. And then at 6:30, we will transition to the open house portion of our meeting. And that's where we have key departments from across the city are set up in the back. You'll be able to ask your questions directly to them, speak directly to the city manager, and really just kind of wander around and talk to people and have plenty of opportunity to interact and with us. If you prefer not to come up and do a Q&A or ask someone, we do have some comment cards over here. The ladies over there holding them up in the red shirts. So you can also choose to write your feedback down or ask a question, and we will make sure that the appropriate department gets that so that they can follow up with you. And with that, please allow me to introduce District 4 Councilwoman Kaylin Paxson.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. This is a very important process piece for our budget that we pass, of course, every year. But I did want to take a quick moment and just let you know that it's now August, so in the 7.5 months of being on council, which has been a tremendous honor, we have worked very hard to take into consideration what I truly feel like was important to this district. We've looked at ways to be very financially minded and conservative in our budget. I've worked very close with our city manager, Peter Zanoni, and some department heads to find ways to save on our costs, on our expenditures, and they've been incredibly helpful to identify those ways, and so that means a lot. And so we started this budget year, as you guys have probably heard, with a pretty hefty deficit. And I think that with some good strategy, there's been a lot of bridging that gap and closing that gap. We found ways to reduce costs very heavily. We found ways to bring in some new revenues. And so all of that we're going to hear a little bit more this evening. We have a bunch of our departments here tonight. And so for me, it's incredibly valuable to be able to hear what the priorities are from the incredible people who make up this district. And so as we continue to push forward those priorities, I would love to hear your take on those, to hear your input, to say, where we're doing things great, where we could do things a little better. There's been some really good input through these sessions, and I'm very grateful for that. So I hope that y'all will keep them up. There's a lot more exciting things that we continue to work on, but I know that in the interest of time tonight, I want to save room for questions. So please bring those questions, and we will do our best to answer them and take into consideration all of this input. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And now I'd like to invite our City Manager, Peter Zanoni, up to recognize a few folks in the room.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here. I'm Peter Zanoni, the City Manager for the City of Corpus Christi. And I do want to recognize a few individuals that are here with us tonight. We have not only Councilwoman, but we have at-large Council Member Mark Scott. Councilman Scott, yeah. We do have Judge for Nueces County, Lisa Gonzalez. Where's Lisa? There she is, okay. And we have M.K. Walling, the representative for Senator Adam Hinojosa, is here with us as well. M.K., thank you. We're glad you joined us here. So as the Councilwoman said, this event tonight is for you. And so we're not going to talk too much except to answer questions, and then you'll have a chance to mix with some of the department heads. So as the Councilwoman said, we are right in the thick of the budget process. And back in the end of July, I provided the city council, as required by our city charter, a balanced proposed budget. And then we knew that from that point to about 4 weeks later, in between that time frame, is an opportunity to engage more with city council. And so we have 4 workshops that we have been having with city council. We have another one on Thursday. And then we're doing 7 meetings in our community. And this one's a special one here on the island. This will be the second year that we came all the way down here. Instead of having you all go up to Flower Bluff, is traditionally where we meet for this area. But we know the island's important, and we know that you care about what we do, and we want to hear from you. So this is a special meeting for you all right here on the island. We'll be doing a total of 7 of these. What I want to tell you is that this matters. These matter. If you look at the 5 budgets that I have done with the city, this will be number 6. Each one of those has a reflection for what the community has told us in these forums. And so we've been doing these type of events now for 6 years. And if you look at the record, you'll see that because of the input from the community, generally there's a consensus amongst the 5 districts in the city. And when we see that consensus, we make recommendations to city council as we progress along the continuum to make those changes in the budget. So what you're going to say tonight is important. Our budget staff's here somewhere. Where's our budget team? There they are, behind us directly. And they're taking notes. And so we'll be presenting to city council comments, number of participants attending, kind of the theme of the districts for these 7 meetings. We'll give city council a report on that. So please let us know what you think about the budget. As the councilwoman said, is there something we should do more of, less of? What's your thoughts on some of the fees and adjustments to service? So as the councilwoman said, to balance this budget, we had to reduce the budget. We have $4 million in reductions in the budget. We have some fee adjustments for special services or rentals that a small population uses. And then we have very few enhancements in the budget as well. So with that, we're going to turn it over to a video. But before I do that, I want to recognize our fine men and women who are here. We have numerous departments in the back. Both of our chiefs are here tonight. So Chief Merkel, thank you, and Chief Wade, Fire and Police Chief. And many of their command staff is here as well, and some of their top-notch officers. So we appreciate you being here, both police and fire, and of course all the civilian departments. Our public works department's here for streets, neighborhood services, or planning, I should say, for neighborhood services related things like homelessness. Our parks department is here. We know that the skate park might be an issue, right? And then is there anyone here tonight for the library, for the Hart Library? Okay. We have, there should be some flyers. Library, Laura, you here, right? Okay, we have flyers, so please get one, and anybody else that may be interested to share it with your neighbor or family or friends. With the councilwoman's recommendation, we're going to have a special town hall next week, Monday. We'll be right back here at the Hart Library in Flower Bluff to hear directly from the community what they think about these changes. We've been kind of required to comply with state law through the school district, and so we had to scale back our hours a little bit while the school is in session to be safe and compliant. But we want to hear what the community has to say, and we want to make sure the community knows what these new changes are. So we're going to have a special town hall meeting next Monday at the Hart Library, 6 to 7. And the school district will be there, myself, the councilwoman will lead the meeting. So take a flyer from our library table there before you leave to remind yourself and then remind the community as well. And then finally, the mayor who joined us last year did want me to extend a note that she wished to be here, but she's taking care of her family matter right now today. So she's not able to make it, but she wanted to send her wishes and tell you all that she cares about the island as we know she does. So with that, I think we're going to turn it over to the video, right? Okay, very good. And then I'll come back up to entertain questions that you might have, and if I need help from anyone here, including the councilwoman, we'll do that. Thank you.
The City of Corpus Christi's proposed financial year 2025-2026 budget focuses on the essential services that support daily life and long-term progress in our city. Each year, the city develops a balanced budget through a months-long process that includes financial forecasting, internal planning, departmental review, and city council oversight. Public input is also a key part of this process. This year, a preliminary forecast was reviewed with City Council on April 29, showing a $7 million gap between projected revenues and expenses, driven by reduced property tax revenue due to increased homestead exemptions, the elimination of the street user fee, flat sales tax revenue, and rising service delivery costs tied to inflation and contractual obligations. The city was able to close this gap by increasing fees for service and reductions in expenses by identifying efficiencies and savings. The proposed budget remains balanced. It upholds the city's strong financial standing, backed by multiple credit rating upgrades over the last 6 years and revenue gains through renegotiated industrial agreements. The fiscal year 2025-2026 proposal concentrates on 4 key areas. First, streets. Since 2019, the city has invested over $695 million in street infrastructure across all 5 districts. A major focus has been on what is now the Rapid Pavement Program, or RPP, which has restored more than 100 center lane miles of neighborhood streets, bringing long overdue improvements directly to residents' doorsteps. These improvements not only enhance safety and mobility, but also raise the overall quality of life in neighborhoods across Corpus Christi. In fiscal year 2025-2026, additional funding is proposed to continue this progress, prioritizing the streets residents use every day. Second, public safety. The city has expanded police and fire staffing, opened a dedicated police training academy, and upgraded emergency response capabilities. In the last 6 years, the Corpus Christi Police Department and Fire Department have grown to over 500 police officers and 450 firefighters, the largest force in our history. In FY 2025-2026, the proposed budget includes funding for 5 additional police officer positions and 5 new firefighter positions, strengthening our ability to serve a growing community. For police, we've added patrol units, modern technology, body-worn cameras, and advanced training to enhance safety and transparency. The new Police Training Academy has strengthened recruitment and officer readiness. For fire, we've increased staffing, are actively replacing aging stations, and have invested in new fire engines, ladder trucks, medic units, and rescue equipment. Significant investments have equipped both departments with state-of-the-art gear and communication systems to keep our community safe. The proposed budget maintains support for personnel, equipment, and training. Third, water and wastewater systems. Water security remains a long-term priority for the city. The proposed budget continues to invest in improvements that ensure a reliable water supply and resilient infrastructure for the future. These investments support essential maintenance, replacement of aging systems, and planning for future growth. Recent upgrades have strengthened our capacity to deliver safe, dependable water and wastewater services. This year's proposed budget builds on that progress, supporting infrastructure modernization and planning efforts to meet the needs of a growing community. Together, these efforts form a resilient strategy to deliver reliable water access for the region. In addition, recent capital improvements have elevated the reliability and strength of our city's water systems. This year's proposed budget includes further investment to modernize aging infrastructure and support long-term capacity planning. Fourth, quality of life and community well-being. The proposed budget includes additional funding for animal care services to support shelter operations and improve service delivery. It also includes funding for a new full-time position focused on homelessness response and coordination, strengthening the city's efforts in addressing this complex issue. These additions reflect continued attention to areas that impact day-to-day quality of life in our community. Together, these priorities reflect a disciplined approach, focusing on what's essential, what's sustainable, and what serves the greatest number of residents. The proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget is a responsible plan built on financial stability, a focus on core services, and long-range planning.
All right, how'd you like that video? Right, not bad? That was all done in-house, just so you know. We didn't have to hire anybody to do that. Yeah, we got a great communications team, so. Okay, so with that, we are ready to hear what you have to say. And we do have a microphone right here. And we do ask residents that live in the district to speak first, just to be mindful of you all that live here. Go right up, yeah, come right up, yeah. What's that? Somebody's gonna
Breaking the
start.
ice, that's
Yeah,
all.
Yeah,
My name is Marilyn Litt. I live on the island. When I came here in 2016, one of the first things I did was go over to the Janice Hart Library and get myself a library card.
nice.
And if you look out here, right on this campus, there's a little free library. I have one at my house. There's about a dozen on the island. That is not sufficient. So I would ask, I'm here to ask to find some money, restore the staffing, restore the hours to that library. I understand the security. I mean, I don't understand the ins and outs of it, but I understand there's libraries all across this country that are in the same situation. Ask you to look at Carmel, Indiana. Their municipal library is also their high school library. So how are they doing it? They're doing it. And if they can do it in Indiana, we should be able to do it in Texas. And the other thing I'd like to ask you to find some money for is that skateboard park. I'm not going to use it. I don't have any kids. I don't have any grandkids. But I think that the Islanders should be listened to, and we want a skateboard park. Thank you.
Good, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Yeah, thank you for those comments. So we'll go into much more detail in the library, but just so the visiting public here knows what's happening. So the Hart Library on the campus of the high school is for 20 years, Laura, I think, 25 years? 25 years has been a co-operated library, meaning students can go in there during the daytime when class is in session, and the public can go in as well through an unsecured door. 2 years ago, the state put a clamp down on this and gave districts 2 years to figure it out. And so the access into the library during school hours has to be controlled access, meaning that there has to be a student coming through the front door. And you know, if you ever try to go to a school, if you're not a student with an ID, you can't get in the front door. So what we're doing is we have control of the library at night from 5 to 8, Monday through Friday. Saturday, 9 to 4, 9 to 6 on Saturday, and then Tuesday, 9 to 1 on top of that, 5 to 8. Actually, we're working on maybe making it 4 to 8, Monday through Friday, 4 to 8. And those changes will be confirmed soon. We're going to have that town hall meeting, and then we'll notify the public. So it's going to be okay. The community room that's there is still accessible, just like it always was, where you sign up to use it. There was some chatter over the weekend about it. We got kicked out of the community room. That's not the case. We, just like anybody that wanted to use it before, would register and sign up for it, and we can still do that any night of the week and on the weekend and in the morning on Tuesday. Councilwoman, do you want to say?
Thank you, Peter. We do recognize that the change of hours at the Hart Library has presented a lot of different impacts on the community. And so while we realize that this change is coming from the state level, asking campuses to be very mindful of security protocol, we're trying to meet with the community, find ways that we can meet those needs that are being offset. Some of the things that we've talked about is looking at the OSO Learning Center as potential meeting space, possibly, where we've asked that their management be in attendance to Monday's town hall so we can look at the variety of resources offered, the times, those sorts of things. Potentially looking to Del Mar, see what they may have as a partner, potentially. What we've talked about for a long-range plan is a standalone library, specifically for District 4 use, because we do recognize that all of these would be, right now, to kind of piecework those amenities. And we all believe that library is a huge value to this district. And so we're trying to be really mindful of that while we're protecting those students with all of these efforts.
Okay, come on up, yeah. That's why we're here.
I don't know you, but I want to know you. Yeah. Thank you for saying skate park on the island. These people know me. I've talked to at city council meetings and TERS 2 meetings and whatnot, and it is a need. It is a need. I don't know if we have any of our island policemen in the room, but these kiddos, yeah, raise your hand big back there. These kiddos on bikes and skateboards and electric bikes and things around town. I do have a middle schooler. He's 8th grade here at Seashore Middle Academy. He does not have an e-bike. yet. But he does ride a scooter and skateboard all around, and there's just a big group of kids on this campus and next door. And I don't know about y'all if you recognize, but this island is getting younger as far as the amount of kids that are here and families moving in, and we need it. Yes, they go to the beach when there's waves and when the weather is nice and when the parents aren't working and can take them there, but we need a place centrally located. I'm pushing now for Billish Park. I appreciate everything that the city has done, especially being here tonight. I wish we had more people here from the island and that are present. I'm representing all of those that are probably at the volleyball meeting over our volleyball game at Flower Bluff, the first district meeting, and couldn't make it. But we just need, I know ISAC and PRAC have recommended this as an item on the budget, and we need to get the engineering and design on the budget this year. And you have a community full of people, young and the parents and older, grandparents and retirees and singles, everything, that I know would come together and help us design a really great park in the center of the island at the wide open, unused space, still room for all the sport courts and all the playground equipment and everything that exists. It would cut back on irrigation needs. It would cut back on maintenance of the park if you put a good sized, but within a good budget, a decent budget that's attainable for the city and for the island. So I'm Cheryl Sechrist. I'm a resident of the island. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, the Councilwoman and I just talked about this again last week, and so one thing is for sure, Billish Park is the to-go spot for the skate park. And then we're looking at, we did a similar skate park in West Guth recently, and we're looking to see, can we use some of those design specifications to help on the budget? And so those are two things that we're working on to try to get that at that park at Billish. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I know using the design at West Guth is cost-effective regarding, the design and planning and whatnot. I would encourage y'all, though, to possibly listen to the people that would be using it out here.
Yeah.
I think pieces and parts of it, but I know that we could do turnkey for less than what Guth cost was, and with more amenities on there that are better suited for the younger generation. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Midge Epstein, and I live on the island. I will come to the meeting in Flower Bluff next week for the library. In the meantime, though, I would ask that you not cut the appropriations for the library, which I understand is proposed, because we need as much money as possible for the library. And if you are indeed proposing alternative plans for opening the Hart Library, you want to have enough money to be able to make it worthwhile. So please don't cut the budget while you're still coming up with ways that you can serve the community, and especially the children.
Right, great. Yeah, thank you for those suggestions. There would be a slight reduction in things like maintenance of the facility, the cleaning, janitorial supply, or janitorial contracts, because the school would be using it more than they had. They'll pay a greater share of the cleaning costs and other maintenance for the facility. Right, the final budget has not been approved yet. Yeah, and so that meeting Monday will be helpful. The Councilwoman Pax and myself met with Superintendent Steinbruck, and his board members are engaged, including the board chair. So it's a delicate balance, but it's based on security. You know, back when we were growing up, we didn't have to worry about this type of stuff, but you've seen the school violence across the country, and the chiefs can certainly attest to that. So what the state wants is that when students are in school, they're not mingling with regular public, the regular public for various reasons, or that we don't want the public going in with some hazardous, hazard. So, but I think we have a good workaround. We've increased the hours already from the initial recommendation of the district to scale it back. And so we'll confirm it next week, but it looks like it'll be 4 to 8, Monday through Friday. On Tuesday, 9 to 1 on top of that. And then Saturday will be 9 to 6, Laura, right? 9 to 6. And then, as the Councilwoman said, we're looking at alternate locations to do things that are very popular with parents and young kids, like the reading hours or the story time. And so we have other facilities we can look at using that are nearby like the Oso Preserve, also the Ethel Irely Center. It just says a senior center, but there's room in there for little kids to go in as well, and maybe partnering with Del Mar College to use some of their facilities as well. So I think we can do it. We gotta work together and work with the district and keep safety as a priority. Good. Do we have any other questions?
I'm new to the area. Probably maybe up with some feathers because I don't know about this discussion, but I attend the roundtable, Veterans Roundtable. And it was suggested, I've heard shortfalls in revenue, and somebody hollered out a casino would be a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Will that keep you here if we have one?
Don't represent them.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have there's a statewide downturn in the economy that's impacting all cities, not just Corpus Christi when it comes to our budgets. So that's primarily in the form of property values and property taxes. The growth in property tax revenue is less in this budget than it has been by a pretty substantial amount in the past 5. And the same is true for sales tax, less forecasted growth in sales tax. Those are our 2 primary sources. So, but we're able to, as Councilwoman Paxton said, be conservative. That's why this budget has $4 million in less spending, and that's on top of $9 million we cut last year. And so we, unlike the federal government, have to have a balanced budget. And so we do that by less spending and a little bit more revenue through user fees if somebody wants to rent a park, say, or for some of the after-school activities that we have where there's a slight fee adjustment. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Craig. I live here on the island. I came primarily to talk about the library. It's very important. I have a son who's a senior there, and I tried to pick him up last week, and it's the combination of no cell phones and the library being closed. Man, I waited over an hour. So yeah, there's just it's the getting into the groove. So the 4 to 8 thing will help a lot.
Yeah.
And also, and as far as overall safety goes, there's an argument to be made right now that the 100 students milling around out in front of the library with no place to go, waiting in the sun, isn't safe either. So that's why I primarily came. Also, though, I want to talk about you talk about infrastructure, road infrastructure, and that's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Operations of infrastructure is also important. In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the focus was on coordinating traffic signals. And then in the 90s and 2000s, it was interconnecting them with fiber or cell phones. My understanding is none of our signals are coordinated. That may have changed very recently, but in 2022, Texas Transportation Institute did a study for U.S. Department of Transportation, and the only city in the United States with worse traffic signals than Corpus Christi is Fresno, California. So there's an argument to be made that some of the operations, interconnecting signals with fiber or cell phones will reduce our crashes at our intersections. So I just want to point that out too. The operation, not just infrastructure, it's also operations.
Right, we agree. I'm going to have Ernie, our Public Works Director, come up because right now we're connecting more of these signals, Craig, than ever before. Both, yeah, connecting and coordinating. We have a traffic management center on the coordinating part, so let me have Ernie make sure you know and the audience knows. Yeah.
Hello, good evening. I'm Ernie Del Garza, Director of Public Works, Interim ACM. Hello, Craig. So he's correct. This is the first ever that Public Works has set out to coordinate and also have communications. We went to council. We had some software packages that we just purchased. They actually use cell phone data. One packet actually uses cell phone data to collect traffic patterns within the city. We also use that data to coordinate. Staples was our first ever corridor from Saratoga all the way down to Oso Parkway. We're working on the rest of the corridor. Staples from Saratoga to Oso Parkway. We're doing the rest of Staples corridor all the way to Leopard. And then also currently working on Airline and Rodfield. And so if you've ever driven Staples here recently from Saratoga and then worked your way south, and then we also finished Saratoga all the way to SPID, you're going to notice that you're going to hit a lot of green lights. even during rush hour. And saw the team working in the TMC, working with our consultant. It took a lot of smart people to come that actually do this for a living. We actually don't have the engineering know-how to do something like that. They came from a consultant who works with TTI. They're called the Texas Transportation Institute. It's very high-level software type information that they come and help us adjust our silver boxes by the intersections. If you see that silver box, that's where all the software is at. That communicates with radars up at the signals. We have a package going out to council to buy 49 more radar detectors at the intersections. And just to give you state of affairs, we have 259 intersections in the city. None of them were coordinated, not till here recently. And so what was happening is that every single intersection was working independently. It would run its own timer, and that's why you would stay there for a very long time, even in some instances go through 2 red cycles. Now we're on top of that, we're working also on our advanced detection system here on Park Road 22, that flasher that comes right there as you come off of the bridge. That's also being adjusted to give the right information. So now we have more coming. So our budget, which was originally like $2 million, we've started diverting some funds to that program so that we could have more intersections communicating with each other. So I'm looking forward to getting Everhart on the program, Weber, especially Weber at Saratoga. That one I get a lot of calls on as well. So a lot of good things coming to the city as far as our signal coordination and timing is concerned. And give us some time, we will get the whole city talking to all the signals talking to each other here pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you for that great question. I know it was twofold, and I know in the short time that I've been here, I've worked with staff who've been incredibly helpful. We've dealt with, to name a few, the Waldron and SPID intersection, the Aquarius and Park Road 22 intersection, the Whitecap and Park Road 22 intersection, and they've done everything from adjust the timing on them, update some of the hardware. There's been a lot that hearing from the community has been very helpful in alerting that these needed attention, and they were very proactive. So Ernie, thank you for speaking and for your team's help. And I've spoken with Chief Markle. I know on the island, we tend to have seasonal, pretty substantial backups in traffic right now. And so he's got a tiered plan that he's, rolling out when those get backed up. So thank you for those. I'll skip real quick back to the issue about the schools. In talking with the superintendent, we did discover that previously students were under the impression they needed to exit the campus and wait. And he's assured us that with their student ID, if they go back in through the main door, they can still wait in the library. So I know that was a big concern for a lot of us, and so we're hoping that we get that word kind of out. I know we just had a partial week for our first week last week, so hopefully it'll get all smoothed out. But thank you for bringing that back up.
We could probably take one more question. Does anyone else have questions? Yes.
Hello, my name is Robin Cobb, and I live in District 4 on the mainland. I'm just not clear what part of the budget the Inner Harbor Desalination Project fits into. I was looking through the booklet, but I can't see where it is. And for all districts, I'm sure there should be comments about it because it would affect everybody. So I'm just curious, how do you look at this budget stuff and figure out how much of the city's budget is directed at planning that project?
Right, so our budget office, which is it's by that basketball hoop back there, will show you in the budget. So it's in the capital budget, not the operating budget. So we have 2 budgets. One is the operating, that's where we budget for police and fire and park services. And then there's a capital budget, which is for heavy infrastructure. It's new roads, new water facilities, and so it's the seawater desalination budget for the design and construction is in that CIP budget, and I think it's for 2 or 3 years still of funding over those years. So it's not all the budgets in 1 year. We try to budget when we think monies could be spent, and so we'll show you where that is. So it would impact the ratepayer through the rates, right? It would be paid for with water utility rates, and but it is in the capital budget.
And does it include the new projected costs for that project?
I think it does, yes. I think it had the most current cost that was provided to us, which was at a 10% design. And so we did update it for that. Yes, we did.
Is that the $1.2 billion that it's going to cost now?
Yeah, and what may be in there is the 997 or so, just for the construction part of it. But I believe, where's Amy? We'll check with you in the back. But we did use the most current figures. I'm not sure if just the construction's in there or other staff augmentation services are in there as well.
And is the council still taking comments on that project?
They sure are, around the clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's our number one issue. So next week, just so you know, we are today the draft agenda for next Tuesday, city council meeting. And there'll be 2 items for them to consider next week based on their prior action, which was to pause everything for 30 days. So next Tuesday will be the 30th day, and the council will consider, do we continue with the design or not? And then there's another action, do we continue with the loan from the state or not? So that's a very important 2 decision points next week for the toughest job around, which is that city council making those decisions. Mm-hmm.
So that could really impact the budget, really decrease the budget. Increase.
Right. Right, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Tom Gottlemoller from here on the island. I'm a firm believer in RO. Absolutely, positively needed here. Now, I notice that we are raising our water rates, raising our wastewater rates. There is no free ride getting the water out of Lake Texana because it costs electricity to pump it all the way down here. I think that we'd be making a mistake not to build an RO facility. A good example would be, just look at Israel. In the late aughts, they were running out of water, like we are. As a matter of fact, the Sea of Galilee was almost to the point where they would have saltwater intrusion into that sea, which would have ruined it. Today, 55 to 60% of their water comes from an RO systems, and they're pumping water back into the Sea of Galilee to raise the level back up.
Wow.
So we have no choice. We live on the edge of a desert. We're in the middle of a drought. We need to have a reliable, consistent water source, and that is, the only way to do that is to use the Gulf out here to make it. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Ma'am, I know you were looking to come up for a question, right? Yeah. No, okay. Last one. Thank you.
Okay, again on water, is there a contingency built into the budget for the likely implosion of property values? Should we not build this plant and not be able to have water?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
Because we're going to get water, that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, we have, we're looking at 4 groundwater sources. We have the seawater desalinization. We're looking at reuse. Right now, we discharge about 25 million gallons of treated wastewater into our bays and estuaries. So a lot of cities are looking at how do you reuse that water. The 4 groundwater projects include the Evangeline, which the City Council approved 169 million water right purchase last Tuesday. And that would be, we would blend that water, first 12 million, the next 12 maybe RO it, reverse osmose it, because it's a little bit high in salt. We're looking at South Texas Water Authority with a partnership with 7 Seas. We have our own wells that we've been drilling along the Nueces River, and the City Council approved the purchase of another 250 acres in an even better spot with better water quality, where we could put more wells, 15 plus more. And so that could produce about 25 million gallons in total. And then finally, the Eshelman-Voigt Ranch in deep, I guess, southwest Texas, southwest, is another groundwater project where a private developer is entertaining a project there. So all told, with those, it'd be over 100 million if we could do them all. And today, just to put it into perspective, we use about 100 million gallons of water. So, and then of course you have the seawater desalinization question for next week. Yeah, we can't let our property values implode because that'd be a tough meeting to have, you know, right?
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much,
good.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Sorry about
No,
that.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, we will now transition to the open house portion of our meeting. So please, thank you for all of your questions, and please feel free to walk around and talk.